All right, let's talk Michael Penix Jr. of the Atlanta Falcons with a real bounce back game after getting really embarrassed by the Carolina Panthers. You know that they were frustrated with how everything went, wanted to right the ship a little bit, and were really able to do that. So let's talk about how they were able to do that. Let's start off with a play like this. So it's going to be Drake London running what's eventually going to be a one-on-one matchup down the field. And when we previewed this game on the podcast, one of the real matchup advantages we thought that the Falcons could have was downfield passing against a secondary for the Commanders that's really struggled to start the year. So Michael Penix Jr. takes the snap. He's going to first look over the middle, which helps get the safeties out of position. I don't think that was just to get the safeties out of position. I think he was just looking over the middle, but he reads the play, realizes he does have a one-on-one matchup on the outside with the safety moving over the middle, and not only is it a one-on-one matchup, but this looks pretty open on top of it. However, also watch this perfect throw from Michael Penix. So great throw, great route from Drake London, and they're able to pick up a big gain right there. And that's what you were able to see, is consistently making difficult throws. And in fact, heading over this play, I thought this was his best throw of the game, and it didn't even end up as a completion. So first, look at how he has to make this throw. Keep in mind, left-handed quarterback running to his left. That means you have to throw a little bit awkwardly, right? Same as a right-handed quarterback throwing to the right. But watch how he's able to just sort of with the flick of the wrist get it all the way down the field. Mooney couldn't quite hang on to that one, but he gave him a chance, didn't he? I mean, that was not an easy play. Sitting his own 35-yard line, gets it all the way to the 25-yard line. So that's 40 yards down the field, pinpoint accuracy, wall off balance. I mean, this is why you draft him number 8 overall, right? Because he can make plays like that. Heading over here, Bijan Robinson obviously had a huge day. This was probably his best play, where it's designed to get him open, where you essentially with man coverage, you have multiple receivers run routes more over the middle. And a lot of times what this can do is with a linebacker covering Bijan Robinson, what often happens is just traffic, and it can sometimes be harder for him to get over to make the play. Watch how when this begins, that kind of works. There is traffic for Bobby Wagner. Yes, Bobby Wagner, the Hall of Fame linebacker who is trying to get in position here. And I'll say this as well. Wagner's running over. He's thinking right now, can I tackle him at the line of scrimmage, cause this to be a really good play? And he's just going to take a bad angle, which usually are set up by underestimating how athletic defender, a ball carrier is. But also watch this throw from Penix. It allows, Bijan Robinson to run after the catch. Sure, it's a bad angle, and you can blame the Commanders and blame Bobby Wagner on that play if you want to. But also, it's a bad angle because, Bijan Robinson is so explosive, it's hard to realize how quickly he can get there. And also, it was a beautiful throw from Michael Penix to allow him to get as many yards as possible. And also something like this, where it's going to be a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver who's just trying to get into a gap in coverage, over the middle of the field. Nothing fancy on a 2nd down and 8 right here. Watch as Penix takes a snap. It's actually Bijan Robinson who's, once again, the target here. However, Penix is under pressure, and, it's not always easy to make these throws, especially when you have pressure into where you're trying to throw to, right? That adds some issue. We always kind of view this like Madden, where that doesn't matter too much, but here it absolutely matters. However, watch while he's under pressure, makes the perfect throw. Bijan Robinson able to make the catch, so they get the first down right there. It's really good football by Atlanta. Now, a lot of people will say, well, was this really a great game, or was this the Commanders' defense? And to some degree, it was the Commanders' defense. Like this play, for example, this was early on. It's a 3rd down and 5 situation. It's going to be a cover 3 zone. You have Kyle Pitts running a deep shot. Worth noting, Drake London has also gone in motion towards this side of the field, and he's going to run a bit of a shallower route on this side of the field. And when Michael Penix takes the snap, I mean, really, the Commanders just completely below this. I mean, it wasn't even a full-blown coverage. What happened was it looked like a defensive back who's in charge of covering deep, after Pitts had already run by everyone, told one of his teammates to go deep, which is okay, you're just pushing the blame off at that point. Not great defense. But to Michael Penix's credit, he's not expecting this play to be open pre-snap, right? Post-snap, oh my God, Kyle Pitts is wide open down the field. Watch him read the play, gets the ball there quickly. Pitts is able to run and pick up some nice yards on that one. Not only is it a 3rd down and 5 conversion, but it's also a big gain on top of it. So, it's still good stuff, right? What does a good offense do? It takes takes advantage of their opponent's mistakes, and that's exactly what the Falcons did a lot of in this game. It wasn't all perfect. There was one certainly very bad play, it was this one where it's going to be, game situation has to matter here. 20 minutes left in the game. You're up 11 points. If you can just, get another long methodical drive here, get more points on the board, especially if you can get a touchdown on this drive, like that just feels like it's going to ice things. But you can't turn the ball over. It's kind of the one thing you can't do. It's zone coverage that the Commanders are in. And when Michael Penix takes the snap, I don't fully get what happens here. I mean, you see, clearly that defender was going to be there. This isn't one of those situations where if it's one coverage, that defender won't be there, and if it's not, it'll be different. Like, the Commanders were running mostly the same thing all game. Like, the only thing I can think of is Penix was trying to throw it over his head and get to the receiver past him and just completely whiffs on this throw. That's my best guess, because I have no idea what he was thinking otherwise. This ends up getting intercepted and a decent return by the Commanders as well that kind of allowed Washington to get back into the game, and it was, made things tough for the Falcons. Now, the Falcons were able to rebound, obviously, and that was the one big mistake. And in fact, there was another mistake that I brought up. We can talk about this stuff, even in a good performance. Let's talk about everything that I noticed. 3rd down and 7 situation for the Commanders, and the Falcons are going to have a really good concept to beat this. First, they will send multiple receivers kind of running deeper over the middle, trying to draw Commanders defenders further over the middle in this situation. And then Bijan Robinson is going to run a route trying to get kind of to where hopefully those defenders aren't. And this play is going to work as designed. However, for Michael Penix, he's just a little bit late in getting over there when, it took a little bit longer to fully get the read. Because of that, he has to throw under pressure, underthrows it. That was a walk-in touchdown had he just gotten there a little bit earlier. And again, I would have liked to see him get through his progressions a little bit quicker on that play on this 3rd down and 7. To me, this is just a guy who's still learning the position and still getting good at this stuff. It's not a bad play necessarily, because it is difficult to learn this, but like, it's something that you hope that year 10 Michael Penix will have down that year 2 Michael Penix doesn't quite have down yet, right? So no big deal, but something that you hope that, I think it's something that maybe can get you more excited as a Falcons fan of, hey, there's yards on the table. If you, once you kind of get that internal clock moving a little faster, things will work better. But let's go over here. I can't end on a negative on a, really good performance by Michael Penix. This is a 3rd down and 4 situation. Falcons are only up 7. They need a play right here. Penix takes the snap, and oh no, nothing's open. We can say, Commanders defense all we want for a lot of these plays, but here, can't say that. Not a lot's open. Penix has to make something happen. And as you see, watch him use his legs, something we've seen him do a lot this season, to pick up that key 1st down, keep the drive going. The Falcons were able to score a field goal, which kind of iced things, put them up 2 scores, completely changed the dynamic of the game. Really good stuff by Michael Penix. This is a good performance. And honestly, after the kind of embarrassment of last week, to be able to bounce back, that's kind of what makes it a great performance, right? To really get this sort of get-right game going. I still think the Atlanta Falcons are probably pretty good, and they had a horrible game against the Panthers, which looks even worse now, given how the Panthers got crushed by the Patriots. But hey, that's in the past. That loss was a loss. It is what it is. All you can do now is keep moving forward, and really nice bounce back from Atlanta. So let's give them some credit. That's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from y'all. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.